Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Oh my god, it's really hot in here. Give me a sec. I'm pulling this around. It's all gonna be cold. Anyways, it's really hot. We're in my bedroom and yeah. Hopefully we're gonna have a discussion of the second Doctor, but we're gonna have a discussion about Ben and Polly and about that TARDIS team era. So as you can see, I do currently own the second Doctor Cyberman BBC book that Ian gave to me in a few episodes back, because I don't know when this video is going to come out. I don't know if I'm recording another video before this or after this, but I'm waiting to get more Target books at the moment because some of them for me currently, they're coming on, one of them are coming on Tuesday. 3 of them come on Tuesday, and there's another one not being dispatched till later, so that's when I'll make the video. But this is why this bit will fill it in. But as I said, I'm going to be talking about Ben and Polly, and I do have a book that they're in. This is Doctor and the Cyberman, and aka the Moon Base. We're going to have a discussion. So I've watched all the Ben and Polly stories possible to watch. So all I need to do is watch Smugglers and the Highlanders so far. But you can't really watch those. They're completely missing, both of them. But what's really interesting about this companion is that they're overlooked and underrated. They're good companions. I really enjoy them. But actually, they're the first companions to witness the first Doctor's regeneration, which, you know, it's pretty insane. It wasn't Rose Tyler. You know, it was Ben and Polly. Rose Tyler saw the 9th Doctor regenerate to the 10th Doctor. So really, she was never ever the first companion to see a Doctor regenerate. I think, you know, you have other TARDIS teams, but this TARDIS team is exceptionally my favourite, especially when they're with Jamie. In the Moon Base, Polly's very, like, resourceful and quite smart throughout all of this, and you know, she figured out a bunch of stuff, and she used like a spray to be able to help stop the Cyberman, which is really interesting. And you know, it's great. I really enjoy the Moon Base. But let's start off from the War Machine. So the War Machines is a great story. I've watched it, and in that story it gives so much for Ben to do. Because obviously William's Hartnell health was declining by the end of season 3, so with the filming it would have been a bit difficult. But these two companions were like the swinging 60s, you know. Ben was a sailor, Polly was like a smart assistant to Professor Brett, working on Wotan. But then the War Machines happened, and but Polly, she went a bit brain muddled, and she was sort of like a best friend to Dodo as well, in a way, because her and Dodo, she took Dodo to the Inferno Club where she met Ben, and actually Ben was quite a good character in the story. He really helped, and that's because he actually cared about Polly, and then Polly nearly called him a rude word, but she avoided it luckily, because Dodo stopped her. But Dodo disappears halfway through it, and that's actually how they turn into companions, I think, because Jackie Lane, aka Dodo, her contract ran out, so she wasn't able to do any more episodes. But you know what I mean, it's really just enjoyable to watch them, especially in stories like, you know, they're not always together, but the Moon Base, it's a small story and it's a great story. It really fleshes their characters out. With the Underwater Menace, not so much. I feel like Polly and Ben have a good roles, but they're more of sort of like in distress most of the story, especially for Polly. Like she's like, there's evil people trying to turn her into fishes, and they're looking to find her again and turn her into a fish, but luckily someone saves her. And stories like in the Highlander, she keeps her cool when she's with, like, you know, the peasant sort of girl in the ditch, and she was really good in the Highlanders. I never watched it, but I've watched part of like a reconstruction. But Polly, she put her foot down a lot, especially in that story. She actually sort of, you know, stood up for herself to like the evil guy in the Highlanders, who fell into the pit and fell into Polly and the servant girl's trap, which was really interesting actually, because that's quite resourceful. But obviously Ben, he has a lot to do in the 10th planet, and he was the one that basically saved everyone in the 10th planet, which was really interesting. Because I feel like out of Ben and Polly, I think Polly's not as remembered, but Polly's not really remembered, but Ben isn't really remembered that much either. I feel like Ben's only really that famous for the 10th planet, which is kind of upsetting, but he had the most to do because William Hartnell was sick, and obviously Polly was sort of off screen, you know, in like the prison cell with William Hartnell. Sorry, I just had this crack. But yeah, it's really interesting companions, these two, especially in this. You know, they were really good in the Cyberman story. And the Macroterra, you know, Polly also stood up it down there, but Ben turned evil. At least she tried to like persuade him and say that he was wrong. And when Ben and Jamie had an argument of like, you know, in the moon base, she sort of stopped it and calmed it down. But thanks to her, they were able to sort of defeat the Cybermen. It was really interesting, actually. But it's a shame because they get very overlooked and they're not really remembered very much. Especially with like Patrick Troughton, he's more remembered for like Victoria, Zoe and Jamie, and not so much Ben and Polly, who were big parts of Doctor Who, obviously, because they were there to witness the first regeneration, if you get what I'm saying. So tell me in the comments what you think about them. And that's basically the video, just a small video but talking about how overlooked and underrated they are, Ben and Polly are. See you in the next one. Goodbye.